Hey, what's up, YouTube? Brother Minister Cepeda. I want to start by thanking you guys for clicking on the video, for giving me the opportunity to speak with you guys and share some information that I've gathered, to share my thoughts, my perspectives on various topics. This particular topic is going to be titled Fear and the War on Love. Fear and the War on Love. There is a war on love, and we're about to offer my humble perspective and views on that. But I also like to start by encouraging you guys to click the like button, click the dislike button at the end of the video. Let me know what you think. Give me some comments. Let me know what I could do to make the channel better. Obviously, I'm just now starting this out, and I'm already aware of the fact that I can afford to have some better equipment, which I look forward to doing. Different lighting, positioning of the camera, exactly where I should be looking, facing the camera, positioning of the light, and all of that stuff. I'm working on. I'm getting better, and if you guys have any suggestions or recommendations, advice of any kind, leave me a message, and also go to my website, which is treeoflifeoutreach.com. Get some information about me if you guys are if this is your first time checking out my channel. Go to my website, treeoflifeoutreach.com. Get some information about me. Read the bio. Click on the services that I offer, which is philosophical consultations, youth mentoring, certified physical fitness training, certified by ISSA, which is the International Sports Science Association. So I'm certified through those guys, and I provide certified physical fitness training. I do meal plans, things of that nature, and I also provide inspirational as well as motivational teachings and lessons and things of that nature. And there is a slight difference between being inspired and being motivated, although they are closely related, as you know. And without being too long-winded on the intro, I always like to put an emphasis on the fact that youth mentoring is what I'm really wanting people to take note of first and foremost, because that's where I come from. I've endured those struggles. I've endured those challenges. By the grace of the one true and living God, He calls me to overcome those. And obviously, coming from the inner city, I like to put a bit more emphasis on those guys, or quite honestly, a lot more emphasis on those guys and girls if the opportunity presents itself. But it doesn't matter if you come from suburban areas, you're born with what we would call a gold spoon in your mouth. It doesn't matter. Everyone has challenges. Everyone has an opportunity to get themselves in a better situation, or be in a good situation and fall out of it to into a bad situation. So regardless, and I do know that all of those typically start around the teenage years, which is where mine started. And obviously, we know that's when people are starting to discover themselves and they become interested in different things, some constructive, some not. So the youth mentoring and counseling, youth and young adult, as a matter of fact, that counseling and mentor to those guys, with an emphasis being placed on the inner city, is what I'd like you guys to take notice of. Visit the website if you know where my services could be applied, someone who could benefit from them. My contact information is up there. I prefer a phone call or a text. If you decide to use an email, which I'm a huge fan of too, I guess I said that in the wrong order. I'm actually a fan of the email, text messaging, and then phone calls, at least initially during the filling out process. If you decide to go with the email, send me an email to realdeal, MUNOZ@gmail.com. That's realdeal, MUNOZ@gmail.com. Now, moving on into this video, guys, and the message of this video, I don't think that very many people are aware of what's actually taking place in our society today. Being a philosophical consultant and all of my philosophical approaches are based on experiential philosophy. It's not academia. It's not based on academia. I'm sorry. It's not based on academia, nor is it. Nor is it scholarly. It's strictly experiential, and different topics of which I've experienced myself, hands-on. I've went out. I've read. I've researched, and for the topics that I can't experience myself, if whether or not a person has a soul, if every person who is this height feels this way, death, I'm not 6'9", so I can't tell you a one size fits all for 6'9", obviously, but I could share with you my thoughts, my research, my interpretation of such things that I've experienced with people that are 6'9", etc., etc. But the stuff that I'm really most stern about is the stuff that I've actually experienced myself. But either way, I've experienced it from one degree or another, either hands-on or having researched it and practiced it for years and years, to be able to give a educated or experience-based profile and assessment based on that type of experiences as well. So listen, man, there is a war being waged against love, and if you're not familiar with these type of spiritual, metaphysical, mystical, whatever you want to term it, if you're not familiar with these type of topics, then that's going to be something that's real foreign to you. I mean, from the outside looking in, who in the heck would want to have a war on love? Isn't love what it's all about? Isn't love why we were created? Isn't love what really makes the world go round? Should be. Supposed to be. Flat out, yes. This is what the truth is. But without getting into the conspiracy theory, as they like to call it, there are those who are in direct opposition to love. And if you just stop a moment and think about that, from just from your own degree of knowledge, wherever that may be, middle school, Harvard grad, beyond, anywhere in between, anywhere beneath, just your common sense, your God-given sense of the way things work, you can zoom in on how that, even though it sounds kind of far-fetched, how it definitely can be a reality or could be a reality. And if you don't agree with it, that's fine, but at least do your research and at least use your God-given senses to see how it just at least could be possible, and try and understand how someone could reach that decision even if you may not agree with it, because there is a up and a down, there's a right and a wrong, there's a left and a right, there's a day and a night, there's a long and a short, there's all these different, you can't have one without the other. And so you can't have love without the opposition or the opposite of that. And so you can, just based on that, you can say, okay, well, I could see how these things are both in existence, at least. And then you do your own critical thinking and research from there to determine if whether or not you believe that there is an actual war against love. Well, why would someone fight against love? Well, right. I'm just going to sit there, take 5 seconds, take 3 seconds, and think about it. Why would someone have a war on love? I can tell you right now, the first thing that pops up to me is if someone is just so filled with hate, then they don't want any parts of love. Love would, in essence, be their enemy. love, in essence, would be disruptive to them and what it is they're all about. And don't you fool yourself, not even for a fraction of a second, into thinking that no one could be so filled with hate. I think if you think that, you're being a bit naive, with all due respect. So there are people that are filled with hate. And you could test this out if you haven't, if you're not, you still don't believe it, or you still don't agree with it, and you may never agree with it. But there are some people who are so filled with hate that the moment they see love, they seek to destroy it. And I'm pretty sure, I'm confident that most of my viewers are they already understand this. So this may be exclusive. This information may just be new to those who are new to the channel. Maybe they're just starting to research these type of topics. But in any event, the truth remains that there are those who are so filled with hate. When you walk into the room, lit up, glowing, you're just happy. You didn't hit the lottery. You didn't get, a letter in the mail saying, hey, you're going to be able to stay in the White House and play the acting role of the president for 24 hours. You didn't get anything like that. You just woke up feeling glad to be alive. So you're not being arrogant, or you're not out rubbing this in anyone's face. You just got a real good positive vibe about yourself. You just feel good. You're grateful to be alive, to have all your faculties. You took a moment and said, wow, I've been through quite a bit and here I am. Thank you, Heavenly Father, or whatever term you use. And so you got this good, warm feeling and vibe about yourself. And you just walk into a room and, you already know what happens. I'll be extremely modest and say that there'll be, someone in that room is going to look at you and roll their eyes, or pick their nose, or do anything that they can do to irritate you, to bring you out of the mode and the vibe that you're in. Again, that's being extremely modest. Fact of the matter is, there's probably a lot more than one person in that room who's going to view you as an opposition. They're going to address you with vitriol, and they're going to treat you very unkindly, whether it's with actual words or body gestures, facial expressions, voice tones. They're going to let it be known that, hey, they don't like you. They don't appreciate you. They don't value you. And all you've done was walked into the room, maybe even walked into the room and said, hi, everybody, how's everybody doing? Or maybe just walked into the room quietly. It doesn't matter. It can feel that energy. So this is why a person would. It's not the only reason why. Some people may just be on the opposite end of the pendulum. They may actually want to tear down that love or launch an attack against that love, because they really don't really care about the love or you feeling love within itself, but they're threatened because they know what that love can do, because everybody in that room thinks they're the best. Everyone in that room favors them, and they may be 5-10 times better than you at what it is you may be doing. Say if you're at a work environment and you walk in, Jane has been there for 20 years. You're the new girl on the block. So she has no problem with you being happy, but for that 20 years that she's been there, she's been, oh, Jane is so nice, Jane is so friendly, and this is how Jane gets a little bit of preferential favor and treatment. Because let's face it, if you're nice, if you're kind, you're polite and courteous and all these things, you're going to get a little bit of preferential treatment. I mean, people are going to like being around you more than they are going to when it comes to someone who's being a snob. Now, all that's under the context, and that's under the umbrella of the fact that there's a war on love, so they may want to be around you so that they can absorb some of that. But at the same time, there are some who don't want to be around that, and so Jane has been getting these perks. You know, people will bring her an extra cup of coffee or bring her donuts for breakfast, or hey Jane, I'm going down to the third floor. Is there something I can bring you back? You want me to get that paperwork? Because Jane is perceived as being this real nice and outgoing person, and she may very well be. But the moment you show up and Jane sees that, wow, this person really has it. She's got that it factor. You know, she's happy. She's bouncy in her joy. She's polite. She's courteous. She's approachable. And Jane may see that as a threat. Even though Jane is maybe operating out of the same mindset and emotional atmosphere within herself, so to speak. She may be operating on that same level, but yet when she see you and you're operating on that same level, now there's two of you, and so now she feels threatened. She's going to launch an attack. So there's another example, another reason why someone would choose to make war, launch an attack on love. Okay? I'm going to say that it's been my experience that not a lot of people are operating from the mindset that Jane is. Most of them are operating from the mindset where they just don't like happy people. They're miserable for whatever reason, and when you come around there with that happy stuff, they don't want it around them. And if you're going to try and love them through it, some people may be receptive to that, and others may just decide to kind of use you as a doormat. Okay, come over here, basically kiss my so-and-so, make me feel good while I make it clear to you that I really don't like you. But since you're so happy and you're so happy-go-lucky, spreading all this happiness and being so lovey is what you do, come on over here and give me some love then. But I don't like you. I'm going to let it be known that I don't like you. A lot of people who are operating or who have decided to be amongst those who make war against love, a lot of them are operating, and most of them are operating from that mindset. And we don't have to go down the list of why a person would be so hateful that when someone comes along or they see someone happy, they want to tear that down. There's a myriad of reasons as to why that could be, why that is, how it came to be. So we don't have to get into the why a person is filled with fear and hate and all those things. What we're going to do is talk about the people who have that natural love. Some people are just born with it. I mean, they're just naturally kind of happy-go-lucky people. They get along with everybody. Some people are born with that. Excuse me. This is what we would call, that's often referred to as light bearers. They bear the light. They have a light. They have they have charisma, pizzazz. They have all these different things. They're just born with it. They're not arrogant about it. They just let it flow. They love being happy, and they love making people happy. For those people, they're under attack. Unfortunately, they are under attack, myself included, because I don't take a holier-than-thou approach with anything, but I know who I am, and I know from everything that makes me who and what I am, it's love. Everything. It's all about love with me. Everything that makes me who and what I am is centered and focused and birthed out of love. Am I the best person that's ever walked the planet of this earth? To some. Am I the worst thing that ever walked the planet of this earth? This planet called Earth? To some. But if you want to ask me, and you want to judge me by what you see and what you get, and I'm not talking about what you see on YouTube. I'm talking about my co-workers, my neighbors, guy at the gas pump, lady in the supermarket, you name it. Kids at the ballpark, you name it. If you want to judge me by what you actually see and what you actually experience, and not just on the outer realm, me helping an old lady with her garbage, me saying polite, kind words, not just those type of superficial things, but what do you feel when you're in my presence? Then you can determine the truth for yourself. You can read the truth for yourself. I love loving. I love loving. And it makes me feel good when I make others feel good. So I'm under attack. And I'm not the only one. There are tons of people who are just born with, it doesn't matter to me what you call it. It transcends race, gender, all demographics, age, intelligence, all of this. It transcends all of it. There's just something about that person that when you get around them, you can feel that this person is self-confident, they're ambitious, they're tolerant, they're humble, they're all these different things that love itself gives birth to. As we know, the opposite to love is not hate. The opposite to love is fear. There's only two very basic human emotions from which all other emotions are born, and that's love and fear. Jealousy, hatred, envy, all these things, pardon me for just 1 second. All these things are born out of fear. Fear gives birth to all those sub-emotions, if you will. And love gives birth to all the emotions: compassion, caring, tolerance, joy. All these things are born out of love. So it's some people, when you get around them, you can just sense that. You don't have to be a nuclear physicist to be able to determine that. You just feel it. And for those people, they're under attack. They can hardly go to their mailbox, to school, to sit out on their porch, because this opposing force, which we're using the word hate, but actually it's fear that you're better than them, fear that you could beat them up in a fight, fear that you got more money than them, fear that whatever. And that's where the hate and all the other things are born out of. But that opposing force can see that opposite direction, that south to that north. South knows the moment you start heading north. So you just show up. You're just minding your own business, and they can sense that vibe, and they'll put it under attack. And we can go into, depending on how the Spirit moves me, certainly not in this video, but we can go a little bit deeper about the truth about thoughts and thought projections and things of that nature. I'm pretty sure mostly everyone these days are aware of the fact that thought projection is real. You can project your thoughts onto someone, and they can project their thoughts onto you. So whichever one you're doing, you have to be very careful, because you walk into a supermarket feeling great, and you come up out of there feeling like like number two. That's how you feel. You're like, wow, where's all that coming from? What's that all about? Well, there's a lot of negative energy in there. You weren't being mindful and still enough within yourself while you went through the lanes and picked out your different items there. You kind of lost track, and you started focusing in on what you were doing, and you lost track of your inner self. And that's where your strength, that's where your love is, that's where your power is. And once you take your eyes off of that, and once you lose track of that, then it's easy for all those other negative energies and the thoughts that others are sending out can enter into your system. So you're like, wow, where'd that come from? Well, that's where it came from. And again, you're just minding your business, but the people who are living out of fear and hate, they saw it, and they immediately start bouncing out and shooting out negative thoughts in your direction. In the spirit realm, everything is, with me, it starts with the spirit realm. I'm sitting here now because the spirit moved me to do so. You read my biography on the website. The spirit led me through all that, through every up and down, challenge, victory, even to this moment. The spirit did that. So it's all about the spirit with me, and that's just the truth about the way things are. And you don't have to know it, you don't have to agree with it, but that's what the truth is. 2 and 2 is going to be 4. Whether you 1,000 years of age, or you 2 weeks old and haven't figured it out yet, 2 and 2 is going to always be 4. So that's the truth about it. And for the people who have that love and who are under attack, it's challenging, it's hard, it's difficult. Again, I'm speaking from experience. It's difficult, it's hard, it's challenging. And you get to this point where you can either go into that supermarket, for example, and kind of wall off everything, wall off everybody, wall off. Basically, you're just gonna put on some blinders and go forward. And I think for a certain season, that's appropriate. But then if you keep growing and you keep studying, you keep researching, and you keep practicing, and you realize that by doing that, even though it was appropriate for then, when you keep growing and keep researching and studying and keep enduring those pains and enduring the hardships that come along with walking and having this light, this love, eventually you realize that was cool for then. Just like when I was in the 5th grade, that was appropriate. But then when I got to the 6th and the 8th grade, that was no longer appropriate. I wasn't, that study, that process wasn't serving me anymore. It served me only to get me to this point. And ultimately, you end up at a point to where you realize that that's what they're after. They're after your love. They're seeking to destroy it. They're seeking to, through some etheric means, somewhere in the ether, they're attempting to siphon that off from you. Because if you give it up, if you go in there and turn down, put on the blinders, turn down, or just lose sight and lose focus for a moment while you're in there just going about your business, these other people are out there trying to literally steal your energy. I'll do a video about energy vampirism and things of that nature, but they are trying to steal your energy. And this is why it's easy to walk out of that store and feel so drained. This is why sometimes you can just be talking to a coworker and you walk up to that person talking great, feeling great, but boy, just after a couple moments you leave there feeling like, man, what just happened? This guy didn't say nothing rude to me, wasn't disrespectful, we just did our little cordial thing, whatever the interaction was based on, and then we left. But man, well, that guy, you know, intentionally, sometimes it's intentionally, sometimes not. But either way, that guy's negativity, his thoughts, and his energy merged or infiltrated your energy, and you went on about your business feeling not so good. At the same time, when those energies merged, he went off feeling better than he was. So, and that's for the guy who is not into energy vampirism or whatnot, and maybe he's not a bad person, he just was going through a bad moment. And that's what happens. So we have to be mindful of our energies. Now, there are some people who are 100% committed to being into energy vampirism, negativity, bring you down. And if whatever you aren't able to keep, whatever you aren't able to maintain, your joy, your happiness, your confidence, your love, your focus, if you aren't able to maintain it, there's some people who are coming around to steal that. They're just waiting on you to snooze. They're just waiting on you to take your eye off the prize. They're just waiting on you to put the blinders on and give them an opportunity to do some kind of unclean deed, which amounts to basically just modern day witchcraft. And not that it's so modern, because it's been on the planet for ages. But whether it's witchcraft or whether it's just somebody who know that at the end of the day it's just witchcraft. So some people just know that they're practicing it and others don't. So whether this person knows that they're practicing it or they don't, if they're out and they've realized somewhere along in their journey that if I can make this guy feel bad, that's going to make me feel good. If they know that, but they don't know it's witchcraft, it's still witchcraft. So at the end of the day, it's witchcraft. You can call it dark magic, black magic, whatever you choose to call it, but it's unclean. So those people are just sitting around, they're riding around, driving around, walking around, and they're just waiting for someone to walk in, and they got that, again, there's that word, again, they got that it factor, they got that love, and this is a way that they implement their war against love. So it doesn't have to be a physical confrontation or let me start some BS so I can evoke a reaction out of this person. Sometimes it's like that. Oftentimes it's like that. But there are those, just like some people that I research and admire, their knowledge of these particular topics is a lot more advanced than mine. So there's levels to this. And it's the same thing when people are operating in darkness. There's levels to that. So there's a hierarchy, if you will. And so this guy may just be, that guy just may be so good at it. Well, the other guy might be extraordinarily good at doing something unclean. So I don't know if good is necessarily the if it necessarily fits, it's kind of oxymoronic. But in any event, there's levels to that. So you may have somebody that's practicing it that don't know, somebody who just started practicing it, somebody who's been practicing for 10 years, and so they can do, they know a little bit more things about spell casting, and then you have someone that may be more advanced and they know how to attempt even more unclean practices. They've been studying that unclean, dark stuff for a longer period of time, so they're able to do things that, wow, when you get around James or whatever, you can handle that. James is just a negative person. Boy, when Steve come, when Henry come, when those other guys come, when Philip come, man, you have to be so turned up that If not, you'll leave there feeling like it's like you're within an inch of go ahead and dying. You'll be so drained and so negative and on a whole different level than what you were on before you met Steve. So there's levels to that, and there's levels to this. So you have to first of all know that there is a war. There's no more. Again, this is all my view. This is all I present to you guys. My experience, my information. It's based on my knowledge, my research, things of that nature. So it's my personal view on it, and some of this stuff is not just a personal view. It's a universal truth. Was Robin Hood a hero or just a cold-blooded thief? Both of those things are true. It's going to depend on who you ask. People in the castle are going to tell you just a cold-blooded rotten thief. The people in the forest that he were helping, he was a freedom fighter. He was Prometheus. So some truths or some of the information that I set forth is based on you guys doing your own research and doing your own critical thinking, and some of it is just outright universal. Like 2 + 2 is going to be 4. It doesn't matter if you ask the people in the castle or the people in the forest. Okay. A sharp knife is going to be a sharp knife. Doesn't matter if you ask them or ask them. Some truths are universal. The sun is very bright. Doesn't matter who you ask. So some truths are universal. So having said that, we need to just stay number one, aware of the fact that there's a war on love. There's a war on love. This system that we're currently under, this economic system, this industrial system, this monetary system, it was literally built up with a dog eat dog mentality. So you think that over for a couple seconds and ask yourself what positive can come from someone living out of that mindset. A dog eat dog. So this is what this system was based on. So it's just a matter of time before it collapsed onto itself. And that time is at hand now. But this system that's been built is fighting with all its might to maintain its grasp. And the only thing that's a threat to fear or hate, the only thing that's a threat to that is love. The enemy's only going to attack that which he is threatened by. So while they may walk around and see the other guy that's sad, and see the other guy that's hateful, and see the other guy that's resentful and jealous and all these low emotions, they might see that guy and give them a little bit of the treatment that they'll give you, with the rolled eyes and the silly body gestures or whatever their thing is. They may do that to them, but when they see you, it's like, oh, party on, because you have something that they want, and you have something that if you're sharing it with them, if you're kissing their butt, they'll give you a pass, but you're gonna be kissing butt forever. That's the only way, because the moment you stop, the moment you stop kissing their behind, the moment they're gonna let it be known that, hey, look, I really don't like you, I can't stand you, I despise you, I flat out hate you. So doing that, kissing their butt, will get you a pass, a limited one though. So you're gonna find yourself under attack because you have love, either at the beginning of the process, you just walk in and you're not going to do no butt kissing, you know who you are, you're prepared to stand up and fight for that. You're going to keep your emotions, and if there's an opportunity for you to if there's someone there who's receptive to that and they're genuinely open to receiving that, then you embrace them and try to bring them along with the journey with regards to maybe you guys unite on some teachings and some prayers or whatever the thing is. But either way, you're going to be under attack. There is an attack on love. These people who have put the system together they can't afford to have love in it, because love changes things. Yeah, we've all heard the saying, prayer changes things, and it does. And they asked Christ of all the different deeds, the different attributes: kindness, compassion, tolerance, humility, forgiveness, all these different things. Which is the greatest? He said love. So love changes things. Love changes things. And the worst thing someone who's holding all the cards wants is change. They don't want change. They're more than happy. They're able to keep their little horse and pony show going with people being so wrapped up in hatred and focusing on each other when and they're stealing from both of them behind the curtain. So if you have love, I know what you're going through. I know what you're putting up with. I know what you have to overcome. But guess what? That love is key to it all. So get to a point to where you're no longer going into these public places. Sometimes it's in your household. Some of us who have this love, unfortunately, are married to wives and even have kids and things of that nature, co-workers, you name it, to where we have to be involved with different people who basically they didn't get the love chip. They didn't get the love chip, and you have to deal with them at work or in your home or whatnot. So make it a point to, if you're one of those individuals, they call it target individuals now. If you feel like you're targeted, and you know that you have a good mind, it's clean, it's sound, but you feel like wherever you go there's negativity and people attempting to irritate you and aggravate you. If you feel that in your heart, then your real heart / your real highest spirit is not going to feed your mind no BS. So you know that you're unique. You know that you're special. You know that you've been set apart. And you need to focus on that. You need to gradually continue to work, continue to research, continue to pray, meditate, whatever your thing is, until you get to the point to where you're no longer going to those public places or in the confines of your homes, wherever you may be, and there's negativity, and you put the blinders on just to block it out, make sure it doesn't get in you. That's fine if that's where you are right now. But remember to keep growing, keep living, keep learning, keep studying, keep researching, keep practicing, so that ultimately you get to a point to where you can just let your love go, let it out, let it expand, let your energy field expand. And if this person is flipping you off or waiting for you to look their way so they can roll their eyes, or this person is over here saying derogatory statements and making sure that you hear him, but he's acting like he or she is talking to someone else, and you're picking up on all this stuff, keep growing so you don't have to put those blinders on. You can just grow to the point where you can say, hey, they want my love. They're attacking my love. There's a war against love. There's a war on love. And when we turn down, we still have that love. But when we turn down, it gives them an opportunity to put more darkness around that light and around that light and around that light. And their goal is to squeeze it out to where they have you, people like you, people like me, people who have that love. Their goal is to keep them to where, well, you just keep that love to yourself. We're not interested in it. We don't want it. We don't want to be a part of it. We think you're strange. We think you're weird. You stay over there. But don't do that. Don't, if that's what you're having to do now, if that's what's working for you now, fine. It's perfect. We've all gone through that stage. A lot of us are still going through that stage. But keep realizing and keep saying, you know what, no matter what, I want to get to that point where I go here, and it doesn't matter if He's saying derogatory stuff over there. She's saying spreading lies over there. He's mimicking me over there. She's doing whatever she's trying to do to get some attention. I'm going to embrace who I am. I'm going to embrace this love. And I'm going to stay focused. I'm going to earn every minute of it because it's been given to me. It's a gift. It's mine. They cannot take it. They cannot close it down. And that's just the way that is. So basically what it boils down to is being able to accept that pain, being able to take that pain. Because as long as you're fighting and resisting that pain, and jabbing back, they say something, you say something, they, do a rude move with their body just as you do one back. That's what they want you there. They want you there playing their little game. Or if you're not going to play the game, then shut down. Put the blinders on. Don't say nothing to nobody. Look straight ahead, because when you look over there, she going to flip you off. When you look over there, she going to roll her eyes. You look over there, he going to flip you off. You look back there, he going to mean mug you. So this is what they want. Either play the little game, get drawn into this energy warfare, which doesn't exist. It's just light against darkness. And when the last time you seen light struggle to move darkness out of the way? Right. So they want you to think it's this, get into this energy battle where you thinking it's you versus them and your power is against their power. They have no power. If they had power, they wouldn't be out there doing that. The person who has power is a person like you and I, the person who's operating from love, who has the courage of our convictions, who's to say, hey, I love life. I'm not ashamed of it. I love being me, tall, fat, short, skinny, whatever. I love me. I'm grateful that I'm alive. If that makes me weird in your eyes, and those are your eyes. You're more than welcome to view me any way you choose. But I'm not changing. So I want to encourage you guys. And the same thing with playing their little games. If you've been awakened to these truths and know that there's something unique about you, and you've been knowing it for a while, and you've stayed the course. If you stayed the course, you had no choice but to continue taking the lumps and the beatings, because you stayed the course and they were steady piling on. But if you've been there long enough, you've gone through these different phases of it to where it's, first, he make a silly sound, I'm gonna make a silly sound. I ain't no chump. She roll her eyes, I'm gonna look at her like so and so, blase, you get away from me. They walk by close to me, I'm gonna bump them because they did that on purpose. We've gone through that phase. We've gone through the phase. If you've been at it long enough, you've gone through that phase where you just basically kind of shut down and just, hey man, look man, I'm just doing me. I ain't interested in that. That's their silliness. I'm just gonna pay attention to what I'm on. And you're still paying attention to what it is you're on, but we're asking you to now expand. You've also gone through, the stage where you play the little games, where you shut down, and you've also gone through the stage. Not saying everybody, but this is the phase that I've gone through, and just like everything else, I don't say anything imperialistically. I just say, hey, this is the path that I've trodden. I've been traveling it for a while, and there may be some gems and some nuggets in there that may help you along in your journey. So I would definitely be willing to bet that I'm not the only one who went through these particular stages. There's probably other stages that I didn't go through, and some probably didn't go through all of these stages. Some probably didn't go through any of these stages. But I'm willing to bet you that I'm not the only one who went through these stages that I'm laying out and describing today. Go through the phase where you start, kind of retaliating, and they flip you off, they roll their eyes, you roll your eyes. He puff his chest up, you puff his chest up, you puff your chest up. I ain't no chump or what. So you go to that retaliation phase, and then in no particular order, and again, not saying everybody goes through this, but this is the gist of how it all unfolded for me, and I'm not labeling it in that particular order, in the particular order that these things actually occurred, but these are some of the pitfalls and some of the courses and the experiences and the the different levels that a person had to overcome in order to get to this point to where I'm encouraging you guys to keep fighting for, to let your light shine, to just walk into there and say, hey, if it's natural for me to look that way, I'm going to look that way. I used to wouldn't look that way because I knew someone was sitting over there about to get silly, or sitting over there waiting for an opportunity to roll their eyes at me or whatever, so I'm not going to even look that way. Now it's like, hey man, if it's natural for me to look, I'm going to look. I know you want my love. There's a war against my love. You want to destroy it, consciously or unconsciously, intentionally or unintentionally. You've been programmed to be on this side of love, or be on the side where there's an attack on love. You're on that side, either knowingly or unknowingly. So yeah, those are some of the different phases. So I don't want you to feel strange about yourself. I don't want you to feel weird about yourself. I want you to feel like you're going crazy. I don't want you to feel like it's not going to get better, because you are going to get better. You just have to keep being willing to take the lumps and bruises. And if you're in that phase to where somebody ruffle your feathers, you ruffle their feathers. That's where you should be right now. That's where you should be. But if you keep studying, keep researching, keep applying yourself, you'll get to a higher level to where when they attempt to ruffle your feathers, it doesn't bother you, or it doesn't bother you as much. And you've developed strategies and tactics on how to make sure if it does bother you, it doesn't bother you for a prolonged period of time, and then eventually it doesn't bother you at all. And if you're at the phase to where you're just going in a public place or in a conference or your home, wherever you may be, and there's a bunch of people just being negative, and you just want to look forward just to mind your business. You don't want to engage into none of that nonsense. If that's where you are right now, then that's where you're meant to be right now. Keep studying, keep learning, keep researching, keep practicing, keep staying true to that love that's inside of you, and I promise you it gets better. So no matter where you at on these different various levels, the ultimate level is to go in there and to be able to just do you, relax. If it gets tense, you operating from love. There's no harm in being tense. If it upsets you, and there's a genuine, rational reason why it should upset you, then you operating from love. There's no harm in being upset. There's a such thing called righteous indignation. So if you're angry for a righteous cause, if it makes you sad, I'm operating from love. I can go to you in the Bible, I can take you to the Quran, I can take you through the Buddha, and so forth and so on, to where they all experience these different things. So there's nothing wrong with that. You just keep fighting, keep growing, keep staying true to that love, and eventually get to the point to where none of that stuff doesn't matter. Or if it comes your way, you're able to embrace it, let it be what it is, and let it subside, as opposed to fighting back and trying to run from it, or going in there to kiss people's behind. Yes, I went through that phase too, where I knew people really didn't like me, didn't care to be around me or whatnot, and I went through the phase to where, hey, I'm just going to show up and be this overly positive guy. I'm going to be extremely positive, let these cats know, man, if y'all scared of me, or if y'all jealous of me, or if y'all don't like me, whatever, it don't have to be that way, man. I'm a real cool dude, man. Just check me out, man. This is how I get down, man. I'm a nice dude. I went through that phase. I went through that phase where a nigga was just, if you'll pardon my French, where a brother was just going on about his business, being who he is, but trying to be that to an exaggerated point, and trying to be that to people that I knew didn't care about me. So I went through all of that: the kissing butt phase, the retaliation phase, the shutting down phase, to ultimately I can thank my Heavenly Father, the one true and living supreme creator. Doesn't matter what name you call him. If you don't give him a name, whatever you call him or it, whatever you're comfortable referring to it by, this ultimate power guided me through all of that, tore me down with all of that, and then built me up with all of that. So now I'm at a point in a phase to where I heard a wise man say, why be afraid? You're already gonna die. From the moment you were born, this body's gonna die. That body's gonna die from the very instant, from the very moment you were born. And you embrace that, and you say, well, you're already gonna die. Well, what do you walk around being afraid for? What do you care about what they think? What do you care about if it gets you upset? So long as you have an appropriate response, and I assure you that by operating from love and continuing to take your lumps and bruises, when you get to the level to where you're just gonna let your love go, you're just gonna let it go. You're not gonna hold it to yourself. You're not gonna let this jackass bully you out of it and have you locked down, or now you're playing his game. You know, we're gonna have a mental war to see who's the toughest, and we're not gonna do any of that. None of that matters. And if there's something that you do that pisses, if there's something that they do, I use myself. If there's something that they do to piss me off, I'm operating from love, so I'm gonna have an appropriate response. It's not going to be an overreaction. It's not going to be an underreaction. And sometimes it's going to be absolutely no reaction. But I'm going to be comfortable with that because I'm operating from a template of love and knowing that they're trying to disrupt your energy. They're trying to steal your energy, because if you can't hold on to it, your confidence, love gives you all these things. Confidence, joy, happiness, compassion, all these different things are born out of love. So if you can't go to where you need to be and just be love, then some kind of way in the spiritual realm, there's a benefit to those guys, and they know it, because your light is supposed to be out here, and they've gotten you to condense it to here and to here and to here, to where eventually you just go and mind your business, so they can add more darkness around. They can't never take your light. They can't never kill your light, but they want to try to make it as minimal as possible, so they can go from trying to feed off of your light from way out here, just say, for example, to way into there, to way into there, to way into there. Or your love should have you out here and conducting yourself like this, but you get to playing those silly games and you're conducting yourself like this, you know, to show dudes you ain't no chump, or you know, the little silly scratching games that they do. You doing that ain't for you. That's their energy. So, but the thing is, wherever you are on your journey, don't trip. Don't feel like you're behind. Me, I don't feel like I'm ahead, because again, there are those that I research and study and applaud and things of that nature, and admire the work that they're doing, and they're vastly more learned than I am. So I'm not the big, I'm not the granddaddy of it all, so to speak, but I know where I've come from. I know where I am now, and I can tell you guys, if you guys are in any of those patterns, or you're experiencing that now, or anything similar to that, don't trip. Just stay the course. Just stay the course, because this Heavenly Father that is all love wouldn't have given you that love if you wasn't capable of holding it, if you wasn't capable of expanding it, and then ultimately coming across different people in situations where you could genuinely share it and it could be well received. He wouldn't have did all that for you. He wouldn't have did all that to you if you wasn't able to handle it. So you can handle it. And if you're taking lumps and bruises now, then so be it. Keep your head up. When your head gets down, that's okay. When you realize it's down, pick it back up. Keep your shoulders square, not in an arrogant way, but just in a way that says, hey man, this is who I am. And you keep taking those lumps and bruises, and every time they knock you down, get back up, but don't give up. They cannot kill your love. They cannot kill it. They can attack it until the cows come home. Those attacks are designed to get you and me to give up. Okay? And then once you give up, then game over. You don't win or succeed. It's game over. But they can't beat you. They can't beat you. And they know it. All the darkness in the universe, you could take infinite darkness and direct it in the path of one single burning light, one single candle, one single flash on a flashlight. And all that infinite darkness When it goes at that, when it's shot at that light, it's going to be pierced by that light. It ain't going to affect that light one bit. It's going to go all the way around that light. That light going to pierce it. So they can't stop your light, which is your love. So their goal is to make it as frustrating, as difficult as they can in order for you to give up your light. So don't give up. Keep pushing. Know that your love is real. Know that there's nothing wrong with you. There's something wrong with them. You happen to be a good person born in a time that's not so good. So if you can imagine being just a regular human being, walk upright, speak good English, eyesights are all right, and everything about you is normal. It's operating just as the Heavenly Father intended it to. And they take you and place you on an island where everybody on that single island is weirded out in some kind of way. Physically, mentally, psychologically, socially, they're weirded out. They all got humps in their back, big lumps upside their head. They don't speak good English. Their faces are all distorted and torn up. You know, they got limps and their bones grow different, or whatever kind of abnormalities you can imagine. If they took you, a normal human being, and put you on that island with all those people that are deformed mentally, physically, psychologically, emotionally, and socially, you're going to be a weirdo to them. If they've never seen a normal human, you're going to be a weirdo to them. Why does this guy walk like that? Why is he walking sloped over like everybody else? Why does his eyes work like that? Why do when he talk his sounds come out like that? You're going to be weird to them. So that's what you are. You are a normal person born at a time that a lot of the society has gone weird. But it's gone weird for a purpose. And the purpose is for ultimately we can get into different yuga cycles in the next video or in the upcoming video. But yuga cycles is something that's believed to happen every 1,500 years. Some people say 2,500 years. Some people even say 28 to 3,200 years. But it's a yuga cycle, and it's where the energies that comes into our planet affects the planet. It affects Mother Earth and everything on the planet. It's an energy. So it's always out there in the air, in the ether, and everything on the earth is affected by it. And some people call it the gold age and the bronze age. And of course there being a silver age in between. But basically what it says is that every 1,500, whatever your number is, whatever your research, whatever research you decide is accurate for you and in accordance with your teachings, then that number. So every 1,500, 2,500 years, Earth starts going through these changes to where, just like everything else, time is cyclical. It's not linear. It doesn't go on and on and on. It goes cyclical. As a good book said, that which is that which was, and that which was is that which shall be. So it's all going in a circle. Just like everything else, when people find it so hard to believe, just like everything else. Your birthday comes, goes, comes back around. Monday comes, goes, come back around. The different seasons, the different months. January come, it goes, comes back around. So the same thing could be likened until the same thing is prevalent when it comes to human beings and how we conduct and behave ourselves as human beings. Our intellect, our love, our compassion, our ability to be upright, clean, motivated human starts here every so year, then it goes down to what we would consider the Dark Ages. And this is a time when, darkness prevails. There's a lot of killing, a lot of raping, a lot of murder. You've seen the movie Apocalypto. You've seen the other different, you've heard the other different stories about Atlantis and Atlantis and Lemuria and all these different other civilizations that were here. They came, they reach a height, they grow up just like children do. They grow up, they get old, they grow up, they walking slow, running real fast, running even faster, peak off, not so fast, not so fast, not so fast, back down to how they were when they were walking. So time and everything on this planet is cyclical. So we're in an age that this time of this darkness, its time is running out. It knows it. It's doing everything it can to hold on to it. And yet the will of the Supreme Creator has to be done. It has to go from daylight to nighttime to back to daytime. It has to go from winter to spring to fall to back to winter. But when Mr. Winter, when his time is gone, when his time is up, he don't just up and leave. No, that warm weather has to come in and push him out. Sometimes you see the sun up there shining very, very bright. And it's actually kind of warm when you're under that sun. But at the same time, there's snow on the ground and it's actually quite cold outside. So Mr. Sun, Mr. Winter, are having this battle where Winter is saying, hey man, look, it's my time. It's my time. Sun like, nope, your time is up. So this is what's happening now. We're living in a very special age. We're living in a very sacred age. And we should be happy with that. So don't feel like there's something wrong with you. It's a universal phenomenon that's taking place. It's happened before and it'll happen again. So right now we're about to enter into we're in a silver age, vastly moving back up to a golden age, to where people like me and you and others who have this love in our heart, we're on the tip of the spear, being in the silver age, going up to the golden age. So our time is coming, the time where love reigns the earth again. This is why Christ said when he returned, he gonna sit and rule for 1,000 years. Notice he didn't say he was gonna sit and rule forever, So our time is coming, and we'll have our time, and then it'll tick back around again. The only thing with the human experience is not like it just goes around like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all the way through the week, and then nothing happens. On the human evolution, what takes place in the human existence is that every time that cycle is completed, human beings get a bit of an upgrade. So where Monday is just going to always be Monday, winter is just going to always be winter, human beings actually receive a bit of an upgrade at the top of that clock, if you will, to where when they get to the top, they've upgraded. So they went from 2.1 to 2.5, 2.5 to 2.8 to 3.2. So there's always an uptick at each cycle, but it has to go back through that darkness in order to renew itself. So you're blessed, you're beautiful, you're powerful. Love is the most powerful emotion on the planet. You can fight out of fear. Out of fear for you. A person can fight out of fear if they fearful that someone's about to kill them, or a bear attack, and they're running. They can run faster than they ever could run a day in their life out of fear, which is the only true emotions. It's only love and fear. So out of that fear, they're gonna run faster than they've ever ran a day in their life. But when they're walking and holding their child, when they're walking to grab their child before that grizzly can get a hold to them, they're gonna run 1,000 times faster because of that love. That love is the most powerful emotion, the most powerful thing in existence. So know that you have love, know that you're all powerful wherever you are, embrace it, but know you have to get better. Wherever I am, I embrace it, but knowing that I have to get better, and knowing that ultimately there's a supreme creator who's in charge of it all, who's already predestined, just like a gym coach, I'm gonna have him hit the punching bag for 30 minutes, and he don't know it, but after that he gonna do 200 push-ups, and then after that I'm gonna give him a little bit of water, then I'm gonna send him on a jog. Then when he come back, I'm gonna have him hit the speed back. This coach has already designed it. So there's an ultimate power that's in control. It may not seem like it. We may not understand it, but it's there. It's guiding this process. You're where you need to be. I'm where I need to be. My situation with its lumps, its bruises, is perfect for what I need right now. And when I complete this leg of the journey, he'll move me forward. Promotion comes from my Heavenly Father. It doesn't come from the north, south, east, or west. It comes from my Heavenly Father. And no hate, no witchcraft, no form of darkness, no soothsayer, nothing can fight against that. We just have to make sure we stay the process, we don't give up, and we keep knowing that it's for a higher purpose, not just for me. This love is that I have in my heart is not just for me. The love that you have in your heart is not just for you. It's for you to go through whatever you need to go through so that you can expand it out and then share it with people. You see somebody, maybe they're at the first stage of their journey. Maybe they haven't even awakened to the journey, but out of love, you can sense that that person has that it about them. So let me start ministering to them. Let me start nourishing them and help them pull him up, and then he'll pull him up, and there's a clock keep ticking. We right back at the golden age, right where we started. So things are moving fast. Hang in there, hang tight, and everything's going to be all right. Listen, visit the website, give me a like, subscribe, leave a comment. If there's something you want me to do a video about, as always, I like to say, no topic is off limit. Absolutely no topic is off limit. I'll talk about the darkness. I'll talk about the light. I'll talk about the left. I'll talk about the right. It doesn't matter to me. No topic is off limit. I research information. The information I bring to you will be high quality and it will be relevant. So to my light bearers, to those who are walking and feeling like they're under attack for some strange reasons because you have love, and love is under attack by fear, but fear time is up, and love is just steady moving forward and creeping in, taking its rightful place for this time and season as well as the upcoming time and season. Okay, so look, word of advice: if you're feeling bad, now practice this now and don't miss this. If you're feeling bad, go make somebody else feel good and you'll feel better. I promise you. So that's what I got for you guys today. Thanks for watching. Stay blessed because you are blessed. And I might not know all of y'all, but I do love all of y'all. And that's as real can get. Peace.